sat on her bed, scrolling endlessly on her phone. She laughed at messages from strangers, while her 10-year-old son Daniel swept the compound barefoot. Sarah said, snapping, "Daniel, faster! When you are done, fetch water. Don't come back until the buckets are full." Daniel replied quietly, "Yes, mother." His neighbor watched with pity. One of the neighbors, Miss Tayo, said, whispering, "That poor boy, he works like a slave." But Sarah didn't care. To her, Daniel was the mistake that ruined her life. Years earlier, when Daniel was still a baby, Sarah had treated him with the same coldness. She had gotten pregnant out of wedlock, and the shame ate at her pride. To punish Faith, she punished the child. One hot afternoon, Sarah lay on her bed, scrolling her phone until she drifted into a deep sleep. Baby Daniel, hungry and crying for milk, sat alone on the floor. His wails filled the house, but no one came. With no one to feed him, Daniel crawled towards the kitchen. He found a small bag of flour on the ground. Clumsy and desperate, he tore it open with his tiny fingers. White powder split everywhere, covering his face and body. He put some into his mouth, coughing and choking, but it was the only way he could feed himself. Moment later, Sarah woke up to the mess. She said furiously, shouting, "Look at what you have done! Useless child! Wasting food like this!" She beat him up mercilessly, even though he was only a baby who wanted milk. That day, the neighborhood heard the scream. They felt pity towards him, but there was nothing they could do about it. And that same day, Daniel learned what it meant to grow up on love. Back to the present. That night, 3 rough men appeared. They were armed. Their eyes was cold. The robber leader said, "Woman, we need a boy strong enough to walk. Do you have one?" Sarah smiled and pointed towards the room. She said, "I have exactly what you need, but you must pay me." The robber leader dropped cash on her lap. Sarah smiled. She said, "Come tomorrow night, it will be ready." Inside, Daniel lay on his mat, whispering a small prayer. "God, please, make my mother to love me. Please keep me safe." He had no idea that by morning, his life would change forever. The night was unusually silent. The clock sang, the wind whistled through the trees, and the moon cast long shadows across the compound. Inside the house, Daniel lay curled up in his mouth, his stomach glowing. He had finally drifted into a restless sleep when he felt a rough hand shake him awake. Sarah said, forcing a smile, "Daniel, wake up. Someone wants to see you outside." Daniel rubbed his eye, stood up confused. He said, "Mother, who is it? At this time of the night?" Before he could get an answer, the door cracked open. 3 men stepped inside. Their faces were hard, their eyes sharp. The smell of alcohol smells all over their clothes. The leader grabbed Daniel by the arm. Daniel said, pleading, Mother, who are these men? What is happening?" But Sarah replied coldly, "Don't ask questions. Just go with them. They will take care of you." Daniel said, crying and struggling, "No, mother, please. Don't let them take me. I will be good, I promise. Please, don't send me away." But Sarah turned her face away, holding tight onto the bundle of money the men had given her earlier. She said harshly, "Go with them. You are nothing but a burden." The robbers dragged Daniel out into the night. His cries echoed through the neighborhood, but no one came to help. The men tied Daniel's hand with a rough rope and pushed him along the path. The first robber said mockingly, "Stop crying, boy. From today, you belong to us." The second robber said, laughing, "It will be very useful. Look at his small hands, perfect for running errands." Daniel stumbled as tears streamed down his cheek. He looked back, hoping his mother would come running to save him, but the house grew smaller and smaller in the distance, silent and dark. His heart broke. By midnight, they reached a clearing deep inside the forest. A fire burned in the center, casting eerie shadows on the trees. Around the fire lay bags of stolen goods, bottles of alcohol, and weapons. The men tied Daniel to a tree and sat down, drinking and laughing. The robber leader said, "From now on, you will fetch water for us, carry our bags, and keep watch when we sleep. If you try to escape, you will regret it." Daniel's small voice trembled. He said, pleading, "Please, let me go. I promise I will not tell anybody. I just want to go back to my mother." The man roared with laughter. He said mockingly, "Back to your mother? Foolish boy. She sold you to us. She doesn't want you anymore." The word pierced Daniel's heart like a knife. He froze, realizing the truth. His own mother had betrayed him. The robber eventually fell into a drunken sleep. Their snores echoed through the forest. Daniel sat tied to the tree. His hand rolled from the rope. He cried silently, whispering to himself, God, please, help me. I don't want to die here. Show me a way out. As the fire burned low, Daniel noticed a sharp stone near his foot. He carefully rubbed the rope against it. His wrist bled, but he kept going. Slowly and slowly, the rope loosed. At last, he was free. Daniel gazed at the sleeping men, his heart racing. He tiptoed past them, his breath shaking. One robber turned in his sleep, murmuring, but didn't wake up. Daniel ran. He ran through the forest barefoot, branches smashing his arms, thorns piercing his feet. He didn't stop. He didn't look back. He said, I must escape. I must leave. By dawn, Daniel stumbled out of the forest. His leg gave way, and he collapsed on the side of a dusty road. When he opened his eyes, he realized he was in a place he didn't recognize. It was not his town. The people who passed by spoke differently. He had crossed into an unknown land. Hungry, thirsty, and weak, he dragged himself into the streets. Some ignored him, and some gave him harsh looks. But one kind man finally approached, handing him a piece of bread and water. The old man said, Take this, child, eat. The world is cruel, but you must not give up. Work hard, and one day, your story will change. Daniel ate slowly, tears streaming down his face. He nodded, holding on to the old man's word. Daniel ate with tears in his eye. From that day, he worked small jobs, cleaning shops, carrying loads, even sleeping in abandoned shade. At night, he studied under the sunlight, using thrown away books. Years passed. Daniel grew stronger. He learned new skills, saved money, and step by step, he rose. From a cleaner, he became a shopkeeper. From a shopkeeper, he became a businessman. Soon, the boy once sold like an animal was now living under a hidden name, respected and successful in the city. But even with all his wealth, he often whispered at night, saying, Mother, you abandoned me, but one day I will return. Back in our town, Sarah's beauty faded. The men who once followed her disappeared. Her money was gone. Her eyes grew empty. Then sickness struck. She coughed. Her body grew weak. The little strength she had left began to fail. She sold her clothes. She sold her furniture. She even sold her jewelry. Still, it was not enough for treatment. Desperate, she begged her neighbor. Miss Grace, shaking her head, said, Sarah, your son, your own son, go and find him. Now you expect us to help you? No, go and find him. You sold your own son. Sarah broke down in tears. She said, weeping, If only I haven't pushed him away. If only I haven't sold him. At last, with nothing left, she dragged herself to the city hospital. She had heard of a miracle doctor there, a man who never turned away the sick. Even if they couldn't afford the bills, the doctor always covered for their bills. Sarah said, pleading at the reception, Please, save me. I don't want to die. What she didn't know was that the doctor she was about to meet was the very boy she once betrayed. The hospital was busy that morning. Nurses rushed from one yard to another. In his office, the respected doctor everyone called the miracle healer flipped through patient files. His name was unknown across the city, but few knows his true story. It was Mr. Daniel. When the nurse brought in the next file, Daniel froze. His eye fell on the name written in bold, Sarah Jackson. His hand trembled. Memory rushed back. Her harsh voice, the night she sold him, the forest, the escape. Daniel said, weeping, Mother, Sarah, my mother. He stood still for a moment, torn between anger and compassion. Finally, he walked into the yard. On the bed lay Sarah, flecked and weak. Her beauty was gone. Her body is thin. Her eyes filled with pain. She looked up slowly at the doctor approaching her. She said faintly, Doctor, please save me. I have nothing left. Daniel looked into her eyes, and she gasped. She said, trembling, Daniel, my son, is it really you? Tears rolled down his face, but his voice was calm. He said, Yes, mother, the same son you sold, the same boy you abandoned. Sarah burst into tears, holding tight onto his hand. She said, weeping, I was foolish. I was blinded by vanity. I wanted my life. Forgive me, Daniel. Please forgive me. The nurses stood quietly, shocked at the revulsion. Daniel sighed deeply. wiping his eye. He said, "You hurt me, mother. You broke me. But you also gave me life, and blood is blood. I will not let you die." He gave orders for her treatment to begin immediately. Sarah cried, overwhelmed by a mercy she knew she didn't deserve. Weeks later, Sarah recovered. She lived quietly, filled with regret but grateful for her son's forgiveness. Daniel, now stronger and wiser, continued his work, helping the sick, changing life. Every time he looked at his mother, he remembered the lesson his life had taught him. The child you despise today may be the very one who saves you tomorrow. This story is more than just about Sarah and Daniel. It is about the power of choices, the pain of neglect, and the mystery of destiny. Sarah forgot that children are not mistakes but gifts from God. She thought money could replace her son, but life humbled her. In the end, the very child she despised became the one she needed the most. Let us remember, never despise a child, for the one you reject today may be the very one who saves you tomorrow. Thank you guys. Thanks. Thanks so much for watching. If you know you enjoyed the story, please do well to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click